Well friends, welcome back to Bad Hombre Garage. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of work on this, my 2010 Chevy Suburban 2500. This thing's a great rig. The only issue I have with it is that the technology is a little bit old. It's a 2010. I'd love to be able to hook up my phone to it and stream music and do all the things that people can do now. Well, I tell you what, I've got a deal right here that I think is going to fix all of that for us. Let's go over to the workbench, I'll show you what I have and tell you all about it. So what we're dealing with in here, we're about to see, is going to be a brand new opportunity for entertainment in this Suburban. So the good folks over at Eonon have sent me this, their GMX6S Pro wireless CarPlay and Android audio. Look down in the description of this video for a link to where you can buy this and a discount code, so don't forget about that. But let's check out what we're dealing with. This is really nice. Look at that touch screen. Look how big it is. This is going to be nice. This should be all of our wiring because they advertise this as something that is plug and play, as in it should adapt right into the GM interface on the Suburban to where I can still use all my steering wheel controls and everything like normal to make this work. So remember, we have to do stuff with GPS. We've got to plug in all of our audio as well as our visual. In here also is a good set of instructions. That's good. I'm going to need that. And then this little box, which I specifically asked them for, should be, I think this is the adapter. I have two TV screens in the back of the Suburban, and my kids love watching movies. We will see how this goes. All right, I'm excited to see what we have in here. Oh, the screen looks great. All this stuff looks, it looks amazing. There's a speaker in here because of some of the warning chimes that go through the current speaker setup in the Suburban. They have to replace that. But look at this. All this should just plug into the GM and then plug right into our touchscreen. Let's move this mess all the way over into the car, pull the old system out, and then see how hard it's going to be to put this in. Well, welcome to the family truckster. We're going to get this old system out and hopefully get the new one in pretty quick without any issues. So let's get this thing out of here. There we go. I just start by using this tool. You can use a big screwdriver or something like that, but just something flat, and working it around the edge because there's about 9 different clips or so that are going to go in here. Well, it's not for the faint of heart. You kind of got to wrench it a little bit, but these clips come out. Just trust it. Thankfully, this outer piece is pretty hard, so I'm not worried about scratching it or denting it or anything as I do this. It's broken in that one spot, but there we go. Okay, so there's the clips that have to come out. That's it, not too hard. And now we're going to get these out. There's different ways to do this, but they do nest on top of each other, starting with the bottom, and then we'll pull the environmental control panel off, and then we should be able to get the radio off. Yes, it looks like 9:30 seconds is the winner. All right, we'll pull this thing out a little bit, and then on the back we have all these wires that will need to be unclipped. Okay, here's what we're dealing with on the back. All these clips are gonna have to come out. They should just be a matter of pushing down on them and pulling the clip out. There we go. Push down on the little tab right there, and then pull the clip out. Boom. When you come across to undo these all have a clip. You just push down and pop them out. This one had a clip. You just pop out. These, I just had to get my screwdriver behind them a little bit and pop them out of there. And with that, the old unit's out. Anybody need a stock radio for 2010 Suburban? All right, so I went and gathered up all the parts. And I have not gone through all this stuff, so you guys are doing this real time with me on how to connect our GMX6S Pro into the old 2010 Suburban. Let's figure it out. I do know that I'm going to have to run a couple of things. One is going to be a microphone for the voice stuff, for talking on the phone. And what we'll do is we'll run a wire through and chase it and probably come up here in the corner of the windshield. And then there should be a GPS puck that we can probably run it the same way. All right. well, let's get to plugging things in that makes sense using their directions here. So please insert each harness into the corresponding port according to the number to ensure the normal operation. This is a 4G antenna. I guess this is for like using an OnStar or whatever. So I guess we can put that in. Here's our GPS antenna. Again, this one's gonna have to run and mount somewhere up on the dashboard or somewhere. Here's my microphone, same thing. There's our speaker, which I think we can just tuck in there and hide behind the unit. There we go. There we go. We're finding some stuff that plugs in now. All these are going to get plugged into the head unit. This makes sense. And here's our audios out, which I don't think we're going to use these because we just have the stock stereo stuff. We don't have a bunch of special stuff like that. So we do have a SIM card holder and some sticky to go with the GPS antenna. Oh, well, this is the piece I was looking for. Factory backup camera in. So I'm really hoping when I could just plug in and boom, have a backup camera that plugged right in. I think actually we might. All right, let's start by getting the unit and plugging all these wires into the back of it. We'll plug in our radio adapter. That goes to the antenna. Okay, so let's figure out the things I do know on here. We'll just start connecting those and then we'll go from there. Number 2 is USB adapter cable 1. It's pretty simple. That goes in the 3rd slot. There we go. It's pretty easy. You can tell. Like this one just has 4 pins. There's only one of these that has 4 pins on it. So, okay, plug it in. There you go. Make sure you orient it right. The little clips on the bottom. Plug it in. There you go. Now I'm just going to go ahead and start doing that, finding things that make sense that plug in and plugging them in. USB 3. There we go. This is 2 USBs. USB 2 and 3. 6-pin. It's the second one. Put that in. Good. I think my backup camera is going to adapt. I just have to use this little adapter right here. Plug it in there, and this should plug into something factory from my wire harness. Camera connectors all plugged in. Now we're working on this big giant harness. It's all together, and we're just going to try to get all these fit straight into the back of the unit here. It's easy to keep it straight. These great big guys, these go into the factory harness on the car. The little ones like this, these are the ones that go into the back of the unit. And to be honest, this stuff's pretty easy. Actually, it's got labeled, and it has a little picture on it that tells me which one it plugs into. So I was overthinking it, man. Okay, big plug goes on the side. Again, all this stuff's going to go plug into the car. This one, again, appropriately labeled. Amplifier controlled, ensure car speakers work normally. Man, if I just read the labels on these things, it's pretty easy. And that one's going to plug in. And the only plug that is its size. This one here is not used. So once these are plugged in, man, that's it. I have my GPS antenna and a 4G that I need to hook up, and then my radio. But this should be enough now that we can take this and we can start plugging into our factory harness on the car. These should only hook up in one orientation and one way for each of these. This one, yeah, let's do it, man. This one only fits on here. Okay, we have our rear speaker plug. There it is. Power plug clips in, rear entertainment clips straight into the brown one. Okay. Well, that was an exercise in, like, you know, finding the right thing to plug in, like a kindergarten exercise. It was way easier than I made it. Okay, this stuff I think I'm not going to use. This is all the wire for my external camera, which it should have just plugged into the harness for the factory camera. Other things, in case I wasn't real clear on this, hooking up this screen is like really easy. Other things, I have all these USBs that come off of the unit, but this, I'm just gonna run all these cables into my glove box. But first, let's go hook up 2 things, microphone and GPS. Okay, my microphone, I'm gonna have it right here in the corner of this trim piece here. And the way I'm gonna run this, I'll connect it there, it'll run around here, I'll pull this trim loose, and then I'll run it down inside this trim hidden in there and pop this panel out, and that'll give me access where I can shoot it through here underneath and pop it up inside the cavity here, because it connects right here, conveniently labeled external microphone. The other one are these little like miniature coaxials for my GPS and my 4G. I'm gonna do the same thing. Again, my 4G, I'm probably just gonna dump it in the glove box amongst all that other mess because I don't know if I actually will use it. But the GPS itself, again, conveniently labeled GPS, I'll probably mount it right over here in this corner and bring it back and just route it with my microphone. All right, all I did was reach in here and pull this rubber trim down, and you can see all the access I have here. But I'm gonna run my wire, stuff it in there, run my wire, tuck it behind, down to here. I'm gonna join my GPS right into there, and then they're gonna go down into this by my fuse block here, and I should be able to wiggle it and find a way to run those wires just underneath the bottom, and then come up, reach in here on the side, and then come up inside here. Okay, so as advertised, the little microphone sitting right there. I just kind of used my little trim tool, tucked it underneath there, run it along this possibly scary airbag down to here, and it's dangling. Now my GPS, and I had to move my my rug out of the way. And if you guys ask, why does this guy have a rug on his dash? You're asking the wrong question. The question you should be asking is, why don't you have a rug on your dash? But I just kind of moved out of the way, and I can reach in here and just kind of pry apart and create a gap there. And I'm just gonna pop that wire down in that crack and around to join up with the other wire. And the two of them are gonna shoot underneath there and pop out here magically. All right, I wanna show you guys how I did this. Again, got my GPS puck tucked back there. Will it work underneath the carpet? I don't know. Microphone all tucked in there, and they both pop out right here. What I did is I found just a little thin piece of wire and ran it through the hole and underneath there where I want this wire to go. Doing the old electrician's trick. I'm gonna just pull some wire. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my two ends, tape them to this wire right here, and I'm gonna pull that wire back through and should feed them out on the back side. Okay, we got her hooked up there. Got my wires tied in there. So if you have two people, it probably makes this a lot easier, but I'm kind of a one-man band at the moment. Pulling, and maybe we can make a miracle happen here. There we go. They came out, pulling up the slack from this side. Now I'm just gonna go tidy that up. Okay, we do have the microphone, and it's just real easy. There's one labeled external microphone. Bam! This one, GPS. I'm gonna come over here to this side where it's labeled GPS, and it's like a little coaxial. Pops on and then screws on. Now let's do the same thing. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my 4G here. Probably just run it with my USB cords over to my glove box. But what I don't want to do is take this whole thing apart because I need this later. So I'm just going to screw it in here, and then we'll have it in there in the future in case we want it. At this point, I think everything's hooked up. Now, before I get excited and start trying to put everything back together, let's see if we have any action when we put some power to this. Okay, it's got power. Look at that, my door's open. Now that I know I have power, we can start trying to hook some things up and plug them in and go from there. Okay, I've got things hooked up. I'm ready to go ahead and put stuff back in. I am gonna peel off, like I mentioned, the 4G antenna. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it, so I'm just gonna stick it in my glove box. It is connected though, along with two of my USB ports are gonna go over into the glove box as well. My third USB port is the one labeled USB CarPlay. I found the instructions how to connect the A506, the little adapter, so that my rear screens will work, and it recommends connecting it to the car stereo's CarPlay USB cable. So I've got that hooked up. I've plugged it into aux video out, and now we're gonna go ahead and put all this stuff back in. But it is nice because this head unit's so thin that it leaves plenty of space for wires back there. A lot of these wires are for, looks like, to go to an amplifier, so I just left them disconnected. And then my speaker, I think it's gonna be able to just kind of ride up there. Here's one USB, here's two USBs, and there's my 4G. So I'm gonna try to fiddle my way through here and then make those come out in my glove box. Those are going out and then we'll go in the glove box. Next is to locate my speaker. Okay. Speaker hides out right there, stuck it against the back there. And now my video adapter And all these other silly wires get tucked back in there. Boom. Let's put some screws back in. All right, that's the unit in place there. Now we can go ahead and put in my environmental control. Being careful to make it line up and nest just on top of the head unit. And then the bottom one goes in. Now I can probably get in here and set my phone up and go ahead and get my Apple CarPlay and everything, but I'll just walk through real quick what we have available. It's basically set up on my radio and the navigation. Does my reverse light work? Let's find out. Look at that, reverse camera works. That's good. I can now go through my apps. All right, so we've got this thing set up in the car. I'm gonna try to connect my phone to it and see if we can make anything happen there. I opened up the instructions. One, it's got a little QR code there, and then when it talks about the CarPlay portion, you can scan the code and it opens up a series of their videos on YouTube. There we go. It's got a whole series of their videos on how to set these things up. Set up wired Android, how to set up wireless Apple CarPlay, which seems like a good one. We'll follow their website and we'll go through and set up wireless Apple CarPlay. See all the apps, and then I have to go find the one called Z-Link. I believe that's it. Allow contacts, sure. Oh, it looks like something's happening. Your contacts and other information will appear in this car's. Okay, connect. Okay. I think this is Apple CarPlay. I don't know. You guys who have newer vehicles than I do can put down in the comments if this is what it's supposed to be. In fact, let's do a little test. How do we turn the volume down? Like, well, my steering wheel control works.
Hello.
What's up, big dog?
Hey.
Hey, it works, man. All right. Well, that's pretty
All
successful.
right.
Thanks, son. I'm gonna let you go.
All right. See ya.
All right. Now, the last thing I want to do is make sure that my trim will pop back into place around the system. Booyah! Well, hey, that's how easy it is to connect. If I had to go back and do this again, it would take half as long because now I know how to do it. This is it. This is pretty slick. It goes right into the Suburban. This is a 2010. Connects easily, hooks right up, turns right on, has features I never had before. It's better, way better than what was in there. I'm pretty excited. Make sure you go check the description down below for a link on a discount code and where to find this thing. And make sure while you're on this channel, make sure you hit subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. This is something a little different. Normally we're doing some other stuff with hot rods and old cars. And anyway, just surf around the channel a bit. Check it out. Tell me what you think. Thanks for following along. Come back again. Watch another episode of Bad Homer Garage.